Hey, John Sonmez from simpleprogrammer.com. So I've done a couple of videos on using the Pomodoro technique, and I've talked about this a lot. You can find sort of my weekly planning. I've got a video here where you can see where I plan my week. It's called How I Plan My Week. And what I use is a technique called the Pomodoro Technique for a lot of what I do, which is basically, you set a timer for 20 minutes, you work and focus on one task for 20 minutes, and then you take a 5-minute break, or 25 minutes actually, and then take a 5-minute break, and then you repeat that, and that's one Pomodoro, and you can kind of build your entire schedule for your day based off that. I plan off of that. But a lot of people say, okay, John, that's fine. You work from home, you sit at your desk, and you can close your office door and you can just get to work. But what about, how does this work in the working environment in an 8-hour workday? How do I actually get this done? So I got this question from Philip, and he says, how does Pomodoro Technique map for a full-time 8-hour workday? I know getting 10 Pomodoros a day is exhausting thing, so how you're supposed to survive a day in the office? So there's a couple of things that I'd recommend. First of all, one of the big arguments against being able to do this is that you can't just close your door and work for 25 minutes uninterrupted. Well, a lot of times what you can do is you can let your boss and coworkers know what you're planning on doing and that you're trying to be more productive. And if you tell them ahead of time, if you say, look, I'm going to put a sign on my cubicle that says I'm working on a Pomodoro, and when that sign is active, please don't bother me, don't interrupt me. In the worst case, you have to wait 25 minutes, and then I'll come and find you. Just pop your head in the door, send me an email. And I think most environments, they're going to be okay with that, especially when you start being really productive, and if you present it in the right way, that you want to be more productive, and explain why this works. Even show them my video, right, of how I plan my week, and say that you want to start doing this, you want to produce more. It's really hard for me to see an employer arguing against that, right? So then comes the actual execution of this. So you want to figure out, first of all, a realistic amount of Pomodori that you're going to be able to get done in a day at work. And like I said, 10 Pomodori a day is about 5 hours of solid work. That's probably an aggressive goal to shoot for. I think I would start with 8. Like if you could do 4 solid hours of focused work in a day, that's going to be pretty good. And you're going to find that really, really hard to do, actually. So what I would recommend that you start out doing at work is that you just start trying to do as many as you can during the day, and start tracking that, and track it for like a week and see how many you're getting done, and then set a goal based on that. So, and then you're going to have to maybe rearrange your schedule, right? Maybe you cancel some meetings, maybe you try to work in blocks of time, but that's going to give you an idea. So if you realize you're only getting like 2 or 3 done a day, that's a problem, right? So maybe you set a goal of 6 per day, and you figure out how to do that. And once you start hitting that goal, then you can raise that number higher and higher, and you can figure out the things that are stopping you, right? You're going to find that, yeah, jumping on your email or jumping on Facebook or context switching between different tasks is costing you time, and that you're not able to get as much work done. So I think that's where I would start, and eventually you can get up to a point where maybe you're doing 10 Pomodori a day. If you're doing more than that, it's not going to be very likely, right? So, but maybe you could do more than that. Make sure though you leave some time for yourself, right, to be able to work on stuff after work or before work, a couple of Pomodori to be able to advance your own stuff and develop your own career, or build your side business, as I always talk about as well. So anyway, it can be done in a work environment. It takes time. It's not easy to do, but if you're willing to explain to people what you're doing, why you're doing it, and you're willing to get this going, and to do the steps to get your Pomodoros done during the day, I think you'll find a huge benefit from this. As I talked about in my soft skills book, most people really in a workday spend about 2 hours working. So that's 4 Pomodori, and they're not focused. So track your stuff and watch. The first week, track your stuff and watch how little time that you actually spend focused and working on a single task, and you'll be amazed. And then you'll see the benefit. I mean, you can, using this technique at work, honestly, you can double, triple, maybe quadruple your output. It's going to be hard, but it's also just, it's good practice. It's a good habit to develop, to be able to be focused and working hard. We waste a lot of time on stuff that isn't productive. And when you start applying this technique, especially at work, you're going to see how much time you're wasting, and then you're going to be able to get back some of that time. So anyway, I hope this helps you. If you have a question about Pomodoros or how I apply this, definitely you can email me at john@simpleprogrammer.com. And if you like this video, definitely subscribe to the channel. Take care.